Hello everyone, in this video we're going to see how we can build a Clickstream analytics solution. So a solution we're going to use is the following. So we're going to have a simple website, we're going to use JavaScript and another tool to collect user information, and after that we're going to use Divolte Collector to get all those information and push them to a topic in Apache Kafka, and it's going to be in Avro format. And after that we are going to use Kafka Streams Java application to transform this Avro to JSON and then push them to Apache Druid, which is a high scalable, very fast database. And finally we're going to show all this information in Apache Superset dashboard. And in the website we're going to include Google Analytics and Microsoft Clarity tags inside the website to make a comparison at the end of the video about our dashboard and the Google Analytics and Microsoft dashboards to see if they will have the exact same of information or is there any difference. And to simulate like user visits to our websites, we are not going to do it manually because it is like a tedious job. So this is why I've built a Selenium with Python tool which is going to simulate a huge amount of user visits from different countries, different browsers, different like operating systems to simulate like a real world scenario. And we're going to show all this information in the dashboard so we can have like a real case scenario. And I didn't mention, like for Apache Kafka, I'm using Kafka Manager, which is like user interface to manage Apache Kafka cluster. And I'm going to use DigitalOcean as infrastructure cloud solution because like it's very simple, very cheap, and for I'm using Docker here to make things like very simple. And for orchestration, I'm using Docker Swarm. You can use like more complicated things like Kubernetes. And for doing all the manual things about managing servers and executing a lot of commands there, we are going to automate all of those things using Ansible to make things like very fast. So in the next like seconds we're going to go ahead and try to implement all of those things. Alright, so I've created like a GitHub repository for the project containing all the information in this readme. So at the end of the video there is a demo is going to be available. You can explore like every part of this project, and this is the architecture. The dashboard is going to look something similar to this, and you can explore much more things, and I'm going to go to each part right now. So first of all we have the website. We can like go inside it from here. So in this like part you can include the Microsoft Clarity and Google Analytics JavaScript tags. Here you need to replace this by the IP address of the default server. In my case I'm going to use like a domain name to not use like the IP address of the server. So I have like a domain name from this like service, and the reason I've used this because I have like a student GitHub Students Pack, if you don't know it. So there is something called GitHub Students Pack. So if you are a student, you can claim one, and you can get like a DigitalOcean with $100 for free. And also for the domains, you can use one of those services to get like a domain name. And so we're going to use, as I said, Microsoft Clarity. So it is something similar to Google Analytics, but like it's not like an alternative, but something complementary to Google Analytics. So if you see like really quick a demo, so as you can see you are going to get the total sessions, distinct user, referrers, the devices, so JavaScript errors, browsers, countries, operating system. So we're going to do a few of those things like operating system, countries, browsers, and something the sessions. So and for Google Analytics, so you will already know it, so it's very popular, so we're going to include them here. And for collecting information like geolocation and all of that, I'm using like AP Stack, which is like this tool. It includes like free and paid versions, so we're going to use only the free version, which is like 5,000 requests per month, which is sufficient for our case. And like there is like another free, completely free solution, which is this one, but like I'm not going to recommend this because it's not very accurate. So the most of the free tools, they are using they are like having a very outdated database, which is not going to give you like the exact information about the user. So for example, in this case, I'm using like a VPN, and I'm using this London, and it's showing me France. This is because this database that they are using is outdated. If we see like here in this like tool, so if we go like down and if we try to use this, it will give us a very accurate information. Let me choose another like country. Let me use Singapore, and if I refresh, I'm going to get the Singapore, but like if I refresh here, so we're going to get Canada, which is like a problem of the database that they are using. So this is why I will recommend using a tool which includes like a free and paid version. So they will have a very a good database, which is like get refreshed constantly. And this is why I'm using this one, so to get a very accurate information. And you need just to include your key here, and you're good to go. And for the Docker file, I'm building a Docker file about each part to have complete control. So what we're doing here, just like we're going to install Git and Vim, because maybe we can use it. So you can just skip this. Like we may not need Git and Vim. And here from I'm creating this directory, and I'm copying this nginx here, this file. You can like make some differences, and then like build your image. And here like I'm including this website here, this one, inside the container. This is what I'm doing here. Then like next we have Divolte Collector. So about the payload, we are going to use like a payload like this, country, state. So the same we are sending from the websites from JavaScript. We are sending here this payload. We are having like another schema representing that payload. For Divolte, you need to have a mapping for that. So I have another video explaining how to use Divolte. I'm not going to go into the details. This is the configuration file. So you can overwrite everything. So if you didn't specify this in the Docker environment, we're going to use this by default. If you specify it, it's going to be overwritten. And here by default, we're going to have a topic called Kafka, but we are going to overwrite everything from the Docker file. So here we are going to download Divolte, and we're going to copy everything from the configuration to the configuration of the container or the image we're going to build. And we're going to copy the shell, which is going to start Divolte. We're going to expose the port and then run the shell. And so after Divolte we have Kafka. So for Kafka, like I'm using an already like built image from this repository, and those are the variables. So the host name we are exposing is Divolte Kafka. We're going to use Zookeeper. Also Zookeeper is already like built image. It's the official image. And so for the topics, we're going to override default ones in the Divolte Collector. We're going to use tracking Avro, tracking JSON, and other variables as well. This for Kafka. After Kafka, we have a Java application. So the Java application is going to just take the arrow. So it's going to get the input from an input topic and push them to the output topic after it transforms the payload from Avro to JSON. You can explore the details here. So, and for the parameter, I expose them to an application property. So you can override this like tracking Avro, which is like an input topic, and this output topic is going to be tracking JSON. For the offsets, I'm going to use the latest. I just want the latest information. Not going to read from the beginning. So, and we are going to listen to Divolte Kafka container. This is about Java application. After that, we have like Apache Druid, which is this one. So I'm just downloading here Apache Druid, and I'm including this property file here. You may need to choose to like change something if you want, but we don't need to. And we are exposing the ports, and then we are going to run this command to run Apache Druid. And finally we have the superset. I'm using this image with this exact tag, and I'm going to copy this config file to the container and then switch into the superset user. And so the configuration of superset is a very huge file. We are going to be interested in one like property, which is like mapbox. So here we need to, like, Apache Superset is using like mapbox. Mapbox is this tool here, which is like really cool one. There is a lot of services that are using it. They are offering like great maps. So Apache Superset, they are using it under the hood, and to activate those maps you need to include the key. So we need to create an account here and include the key in the configuration file. And for like deploying our project, so I'm using Ansible, and here in the var YAML you need to include your DigitalOcean token, specify the nodes, include the region, the size, and your SSH key in DigitalOcean, and in do swarm YAML. So there is all the things that we're going to execute, which is like summarized like in the readme. If we go down, so we are going so Ansible is creating Droplet in DigitalOcean, installing Docker, Grease cluster, Docker swarm, and we are going to copy those files and run Docker swarm and execute superset shell. And because like Apache Superset, when the container is running, you need to specify the login information. So here we are going to execute, after the superset is up, we're going to execute those commands, which is going to create a user with username admin, password is going to be admin. We're going to do an upgrade, load the example, and then init. And all of those things are included in the documentation of Apache Supersets. You can check this out also. So this is the final Docker compose. We are specifying the network, front end, and for Divolte, Docker Divolte is going to be both like front end, back end. So I'm trying to just separate front end from the back end to make like a kind of security, like a firewall. So you can do different approach, it's up to you. So you can just explore this to see different parameter and the environment variables I'm using. So I cannot go into the details because the video is going to get so long. And right now we are going to go and download this and make the changes. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's clone this repository. So I'm going to use I turn, and I'm going to go to a specific directory, and here I'm going to clone this project, and I'm going to call it Clickstream, and then let's go inside it, and I'm going to open it in Sublime. So first of all, we have here the website. So we need to include Microsoft Clarity and Google Analytics JavaScript tags. So here you need to log in. I'm going to create a new project. This is going to be called Clickstream. The website is like HTTP tech, and we're going to click Other, Create. And here we need to do those steps. So actually just take this script and we're going to include it here. And then for Google Analytics, you need to go to the admin and create account. And this is going to be called Clickstream. And let's continue. So let's call everything Clickstream. It's going to be small, so anything here is going to do. Going to choose web. So website is this one. Okay, and then we're going to choose this guy here, and let's bring this below it. Okay, so we are good with like Google Analytics and Microsoft Clarity. For the dashboard, we need to wait logically, and here I'm going to use like domain name, and as I said, you need to include your key for the IP stack. So you're going to find your key. So this is your key. You can take it and paste it here. Alright, so we are done with the website. That's simple. For Divolte Collector, we don't need to make any changes. It's already good. So for Kafka Stream, so we need to open this in IntelliJ. So I'm going to open it right now. So I've opened the project in IntelliJ, just this Kafka Stream project. So here we have like the class, and we are interested. So here you can change everything if you want. So the topic, input topic or output topic. But like what we want right now is generate the jar file. So I'm going to use clean install. Alright, so the build was successful. So we are interested in this one. So we can close this. And if we can see in Docker file, we're going to copy this generated jar in our Docker container and then run the Java project. So this is like done right now, and we need to go after this to Apache Druid. Everything is good for Apache Druid, and then for the Superset, like we need to include the map box, as I said. So you just need to go create an account. I have already created one. And then let's create a token. Call it Clickstream. And now we're going to copy it. Search for map box. Replace this by your key. Save it. And that's it. We're good to go. Okay, right now in Docker Compose, I'm going to increment the line containing the platform because I'm using M1 chip with ARM architecture, and when we are going to deploy in AMD architecture, which is different. So this is why I need to build images with the same architecture so they can work in production. This is why we need to increment this. And right now let's go ahead and build the images, because like Docker Swarm is expecting that images are built and exist in our registry. So Docker Swarm does not do the build like Docker Compose. So this is why we need to build them right now with Docker Compose. Alright, and right now we need to push them to our repository. This is going to take a long time. I'm going to get back when this thing's finished. Alright, so right now the upload was finished. So we can check this out. Like here, if I make a refresh. So they were pushed. Right now we are good. So the next step is right now we are going to use like the Ansible to deploy the project on DigitalOcean. So first of all, we're gonna need to modify this file. So as you can see here, we need the token and we need the SSH key IDs, and from the README I've explained like how to get those things. So if we just go down here and to this link, you can click it and get the information about the token. So basically you need to go to this API and create like a token. So I have already created one. So I'm going to just like regenerate the token. I'm going to take that, go here and replace this one. About the SSH key, you need to create one. So go into settings, security, and you need to add an SSH key. You can follow this instruction to generate one. I've already generated an SSH key from my PC and uploaded the public key right here. And to get like the ID, you need to like call this API. So let me first modify the token. So I'm going to bring this, modify this one, and I'm going to call this API. It's going to generate the ID. I'm going to take it and go here and modify it by the ID of SSH key. Right now in the DigitalOcean we don't have like droplets. All things is going to be created automatically. So what I need to do right now is go inside Ansible, as I have specified here. Go inside Ansible and then try to execute the Ansible playbook. We need to specify the token here, and I will run this. So it will create droplets, and we are going to wait until this is going to finish. There is like something I forgot to update. Is like if we go to Docker Compose, actually we should like and comment the platforms, because like Docker Swarm will not support them. And then I'm going to repeat the task again. Alright, so like right now, like Ansible finished all the steps. So as we can see, we have installed Docker, delete rules of Docker, open firewall, initialize swarm, add the nodes, copy the Docker and Superset shell or bash file, run the Docker swarm. We make a pause of 1 minute until the Apache Superset is up, and then we get the container ID and we run the shell against it. So right now what we need to do, so I need to add the DNS. It's really simple with DigitalOcean. So I'm just going to add my domain, and here I need to write add, choose node. So I'm going to choose the master node, and yeah, so we just need to wait a couple of minutes until the DNS is going to be applied. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to run everything. So if we take this master node IP address and if I SSH so inside it, and I'm going to run docker stack services Clickstream. So as we can see, all the replicas like they match and everything is up and running. And as we can see here, so the website is running on the port 80. After this, like we need to check for Divolte. So if I go, so this is like a running. If I go to the port like for Divolte, it's running. Next, what we have, we need to go check for like Kafka manager. It's going to be, so it's up. We can call this cluster Clickstream. For Zookeeper, we're going to use this one. I'm going to check the poll consumer, save. So it is working. Let's check for the topics. We have tracking Avro, tracking JSON, so it's working fine. The consumer, not there yet. We have like, if you remember, Kafka Streams Java application, so it's going to come up like after a couple of seconds. We need also to check for Divolte for Apache Druid, and finally we have like Apache Superset in this port. Okay, no, normally because I have like already open session earlier, so normally you will get a login and you're going to use admin, and you're going to connect. And if we check for databases, so we don't have one. So let's go back to Apache Druid. We're going to select this one. It's going to be Divolte Kafka, and this is like tracking JSON. Going to apply it. Let's check if we have the consumer or still not yet. So let's just like wait a couple of seconds until the consumer is going to be up and running. Alright, so here we have like the Java or Kafka Stream Java application is running and intercepting, you know, this topic. And here we are, so in Apache Druid. So we intercept this. I'm going to click next. Okay, so I'm going to click next. And also we're not going to make any transformation. For the filter, as you can see, we're getting like 2 times. The first is null, so we want to filter all those null value. So here if we go back to to here. So you can use this payload to filter like everything here. I'm going to apply it, so we have null gone. Okay, so I'm going to continue granularity. You can choose whatever you want. I'm going to use day, and the earlier offset is going to be false. Only want to listen to the last thing, and this one I'm going to call it like Clickstream. And let's continue, and I'm going to submit this, and so it's going to be take a couple of minutes, and then it's going to be available here. I'm going to let it refresh every 5 seconds, and then we are going to go back when it is ready. Okay, so here's it's ready right now. We can go to query, choose this one. I'm going to go back. So this is the one. So we have like 2. If I make another refresh, we are going to get 3. So now we know that it's working. It's like working in real time. Right now we need to connect to the Apache Druid. So we have the URL here. So this is what we're gonna use. For user and password, it's admin. For the port is 48, and for this one it's Apache Druid. And let's test the connection. The connection is good. Let's connect, and then let's go to SQL to test if this is like working. Apache Druid, Clickstream, it's running. So yeah, so we are intercepting all the data right now. Let's use, for example, a VPN. Let's use this Singapore. Alright, so let's make a refresh. Here we have the payload. If we go back here and click run, here we have Singapore. So this is good. Right now we have the project running from end to end, and right now we need to go and build our dashboard. Okay, let's go right now and let's create our dashboard. First of all, we need to create a data set. I'm going to choose Apache Druid, Clickstream, and then let's go and create a dashboard. We're going to call it Clickstream Analytics. Okay, and I'm going to save this, and then let's create a chart for this dashboard. I'm going to use Clickstream datasets, and let's use some type of maps. So I'm going to use this one because it's used like Mapbox. It's really advanced, and here you can choose, the latitude, longitude. We already have those information. We just need to specify them here, and yeah. So we can run right now the query, and if we zoom out, we can see this Morocco, Malaysia, where we have Singapore working fine. And here we have like multiple settings, so you can change this to kilometers, so it's going to be bigger if we have a lot of like information. So legend position, we are going to use it in top right. So dimension, so there's like multiple settings here you can choose from, and the dimension is going to be dependent on the country. So every country will be different in kind of colors. As you can see, you're going to have the lists of them here. So let's name something like visits, and let me save that. We're going to use like Clickstream Analytics, save and go to the dashboard. Okay, so here we have it. We're going to add like multiple charts, so it's same always Clickstream. Let me choose like word count. This is like a very nice feature. So the option, I'm going to focus more on the country. The metrics is going to be on the country always, and we're going to count the number of them. And if we run this, yeah, we have the countries. So let's call it countries, and let's save this also in the dashboard. Okay, let's add also something called like filter. Filter is something really important. This will get applied in all the components. So we are going to use some filter here, a filter. She's going to be the country. Alright, good. So let's run the query. Yeah, so let's write like country filter. Right, so we can save this to the dashboard. So it's as easy as this. So you can add as much as you want. So I'm going to use here like big number trend line, create. So this is the time. So the metric is going to be always the country, the count. Right, so let's write something different, like world's population. Like number, like title don't really matters. You can title them whatever you want. So I'm just like, we're just making a simple example. So, and now we can see that we can like manage all of those things. I'm going to make this like in this part, and I'm going to make it like smaller, and let's make it like that. And this is going to be a column, really. So like that, and I'm going to bring this here below it. And for this one, so this is going to be maybe we can just like make this like that bigger, and let's create other ones. This sounds much cooler. You have like complete control over it. Let's create right now the P chart. So I'm going to use the browser name, metrics, like a browser name, and count. And let me save that. Let's run it. It's like Chrome, and this is like browser breakdown. Let me save that. I don't know if we can make a copy of this. So because we need to create the same thing for operating system. So it's really the same trail. Alright, so let's create a table. So here we're going to choose, okay, let me try this. We'll have like country, like add metrics, country, and count. Let's run this. Okay, so this is the percentage. It's going to be also on country and count. We have the percentage, looks good. Like most popular countries. Let's save. Alright. So another one. For the operating system. Alright, so what do we have left here? We can choose like a line chart. This one. No country. Let's run this query. Let's save. Go to dashboard. Create a new one. Clickstream. Area charts. Let's create. Country. Count. Save. Run. World. Like country growth. Yeah, so we're gonna save this. And then let's try to make this like cooler. Okay, so let's modify the dashboard. We're going to use this close to that. It's going to be more like this. Okay, perfect. So for this one, we're going to use like columns. Let me make this here if you can. So column here, and so always break down. This is below it. Column here. So we'll have browser breakdown. This is like browser breakdown below it. This is going to be a little bit smaller, like that. And this is going to be more like that. Alright, sounds cool. Let me bring this here. I'm going to make 2 columns here. Alright, let's make this here, this country here. Okay, let me remove this. Let's save. Alright, so here we have our dashboard. And yeah, it was like really simple or really quick to build. And yeah, that's it. So right now, let me go to the website. Let's change to a new country. Let's say France. And let's refresh the page. We're going to get France. If I went here and make a refresh, so we have a new country here. So it's France, like 1, and browser was Chrome, macOS. And yeah, so now we have seen that our dashboard is working fine. Right now we are going to go to the next step when we are going to simulate a huge user visits using the Selenium tool. So let's explore this right now. So if we went like back here, I've said like I'm going to use a Selenium tool, which is going to simulate a lot of users and from different countries, browsers, and all of this. So if we go back, this is what we're going to follow. So from Chrome and Windows operating system and from United States, we're going to simulate 1200 users and so on. So for those examples, at the end we will have like 6000 users visits from these countries, those operating systems, those browsers, and we can explore this from the dashboard. And then we're going to compare between like our dashboard with Microsoft Clarity to see if we have the same results. So here like there is a delay for Microsoft Clarity, which like 15 minutes. So here we're just getting Morocco, Singapore. If we seen here, we have like 3 Morocco, 1 Singapore. So maybe it's delayed or it has missed 1. And for Google Analytics, there is like a lot of delay, like 24 hours. So here we have like 0, we need to wait more, so 1 day or something. So right now I'm going to go ahead and execute this simulation, and I'm going to go back as soon as I finished. Alright, so I made a little change. So I changed like Ukraine with Romania, and right now like I did the simulation, and after like 12 hours or so, we are getting the results in both Microsoft Clarity. So as we can see here, and we can see like the operating system like triggered here, and the devices, the browsers, and the countries. And here also, so in Google Analytics, so the results are pretty much like similar. So we can see the countries here. If you want to see the browsers, so we can go here. We can see like the operating systems, you can see the browsers, right? So, and in our superset, so here we have like the most important like countries. So basically we can understand Romania is the first one, United States, China, and here we have like more data about each country. We have here information about the browser operating system with the percentage, and so here, and with the exact number. About those things we have like an issue about like the timestamp, because like I've used the timestamp of like Apache Druid, which is giving me the same time for all of them. So this is like an issue. We can solve this like by giving like our payload a timestamp to be like different, and this is why we don't see results here. So I'm not going to resolve this because the video is going too long. So now we can just make a comparison. I've made like some tables here to see some comparison between them, and I have some issues like making the simulation. It wasn't really exact. Got some issue like when I was simulating like in the United States, so it didn't get triggered because as you can see here the page is a little bit slow to show you, so it takes like a second or two to show you the payload, so it didn't get triggered, so I needed to change the time to send the information. Okay, so as we can see here, so about Chrome, so we have like 3000. So for Edge, like I need to change the code because like if we go back to the website, so I'm using just like some code here to get the operating system and the browser. We can make this more advanced, so I'm not triggering like the Edge. For Opera it's really accurate, for Firefox also. And here we have slight differences. For example, we triggered Safari, they didn't trigger it. So, and for the like consider it, maybe for this one consider it like Chrome Mobile, this one like others. For operating system, so we consider in our solution like Linux or Ubuntu and Android the same thing. So if you add those things, you are going to get the exact like number. For the Mac and iOS, we consider it like a Mac. So if you add like this column with this column, you are going to get similar thing. For Windows, so I didn't get all of them because like I had like the first 1000 I was having an error. So those things, those like Clarity and the Google Analytics, they were triggering or capturing the user visits. I wasn't capturing them because like there was an issue in simulation. And so, and for the countries, we can see like there is like, just for clarity, they are having slightly like 800 plus for the China. So they have like, maybe they are using different tool to find what is the country. So if you can see this one with Netherlands, it's like the opposite. So maybe they consider our proxy that we consider it China, they consider it like Netherlands. So, and here you understand that because like if you use different tool, you may get different results. So for the US, so the first 1000 I was missing it. This is like if you add like 1000, you're going to get the same results. So for Morocco, those one, we can consider them like maybe as the same. For the Spain, so this one didn't trigger it, which is weird. This one, maybe he flip it with Germany, he considered like Spain as Germany, so this may be a close number. And for the Finland, maybe this one consider it like Saudi Arabia, this is why we don't have it here. And this one triggered UK, we didn't use UK, so for clarity, so we can consider that the results are very close. And the only issue that like we had is we need to wait. But like for this one, only advantage that it has, like it's really like fast. But like they are doing it like in delay, because like obviously this tool is used by millions of people, so they wouldn't use this real-time like solution. Okay, so I hope like you like this tutorial about building your own Clickstream, and thank you so much.